Hello. So, just a disclaimer. I was at the hospital today. I'm not supposed to talk. I hurt my jaw. And, yeah, like the tendon. So, I'm not supposed to talk that much. But I'm gonna try my best. So, the, first video that I watched for the, crate dig number 4 was Street Star 2013 Vogue Femme Final Battle with Lysandra and Inksy. And the battle took place in Sweden. And it was basically how I pictured battles to be. It was very, there were people surrounding it, and it wasn't necessarily a stage because the people were looking down on the dancers. There were 2 dancers. It was like a 1v1 battle. Let's see. There were 2 people dressed up in costumes. One was Sailor Moon, I believe. I don't watch anime, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And the other one was Wonder Woman. And personally, I think that the crowd was very hype. I think that the aesthetic was very kind of foreign to me. I've never been in that type of scenario. And for the next one, for whacking and punking, I chose the Street Star 2013 battle also. And again, it was in Sweden. And it was Waukesha and Princess Madoki. And personally, I liked the Vogue performance a bit more, just because I feel like they were more not necessarily in character, because the punking performance was also in character, but it had basically the same vibe. And battle was structured the same as Vogue, a 1v1, 2 people, and they would go back and forth, and then at the end they would dance at the same time, and then at that point the judges would decide. There were 3 judges for both battles, and they would decide who won at the very end after they both danced together. In the third video for House, I watched the it's called Summer Dance Forever. It's in 2012 in Amsterdam, and again, it was a 1v1. There were 2 people. That one looked a little bit more informal to me than the first 2, possibly because, I don't know, could be the setting. The video quality was also not as good. The people were just, level with, or the audience was just level with the dancers, so that also kind of gave it a different dynamic, because I feel like when the dancers are on the same level as the audience, it's a bit more intimate, I feel like, and a bit more personal. And the vibe for all 3, I guess, it was just really really supportive. Everyone was supportive of each other. The dancers were very they were competitive, but not in a malicious type of way. They were very supportive to each other, gave each other hugs, gave each other high fives. It was just really nice to see that, and I like that a lot. And another thing with the house dancers, the aesthetics of them versus the other two, they were dressed less formally than the first two, I feel like. And I feel like that has something to do with how house is very underground and very, it's just not as flashy, I guess, as the other two seemed. Yeah, and I, for the Vogue Femme performance, I chose Inksy as the winner, and I chose her because she just I felt like was more clean than Lysandra, and I felt like she had more performance. I mean, they both had a really good performance, and I liked how they both moved together, and I thought it was really cool, considering it's improv. So I felt like the winning move for me for Inksy was whenever she would do her drops. She would do her but da ha, and she would do those, and then she would just do it again, but da ha, and then she would just keep going. And I felt like she put her leg up more whenever she was down on the floor, and I felt like that really added a special type of dynamic to it, and she kind of showcased her flexibility a bit better. And I feel like she also used the use of her hair. She used hairography a lot more. I felt like that was very entertaining. And for the punking, I really thought that Waukesha was really good. She was very good. I liked, this one was a tough one. I liked how she was very, like, how she was dressed. It was very sexy, but not in a not really in a risque type of way. It was very classy. And Princess Madoki, though, however, I felt like her moves were a lot more genuine. I felt like Waukesha was kind of trying to show off a bit too much, which, I mean, that's the whole point, but I just felt like Princess Madoki just had a better flow to her, and I felt like that had to do partly with what she was wearing and partly with just her personal style. I agreed with, or I liked more, and my eyes drew to her more. However, I did gain from watching this video, I gained the knowledge on what posing in punking really is, and how it can be so different. And I felt like when I was learning it in class, it just didn't really connect with me, I guess. I did poses, but I wasn't really sure how to embody those poses, but I feel like these two dancers did it really well, and it showed me. And for house, oh gosh, for this one was very hard, because Ijo and Capella were both very good, but I remember Capella, I just saw how he's a bit smoother than Ijo, and he just has a way of moving that he has a bit more swag, I guess. I don't know. He has a bit more swag to him, and he knows how to use it, and I really appreciated that. And that one just made me realize that you really have to look when you're trying to evaluate the two dancers. You really have to look, and you have to be careful with what you're watching, and it's really hard. It's really hard to do that, and I appreciate how judges do that. I think that's really cool. And next, the sound and movement of the clips. Well, for the first two, it it was very, I really liked how in the Vogue one, the speaker or the DJ, he spoke throughout the whole thing, and I thought that was very helpful to kind of see where the beats were with the movement, and like he would say da 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 da, and he would just do he would do the sound of the music, and I thought that was really cool. I like that a lot. That's one thing they really like about voguing, and I like how in the end he was like, how you mentioned in class, he's like, now hold that pose for me, and then they held it, and they just kept holding it, and it was just everyone started cheering, and they thought that was the end, but it wasn't, and I just really loved that a lot, and I felt like that really influences, as a viewer, it influences how you see the dancing, and it influences how you can just visually picture it so much better. And the dancers just really responded well to that, and I liked that a lot. And it just says a lot about how open and how connecting the culture can be for voguing and for ballroom. I think that's really cool, and I wish I want to see more of that. And for whacking, the judge was about the same. The judge wasn't as, or not the judge, the DJ, the speaker, wasn't as out there as in Vogue. They do tell the dancers when to start and stop dancing, and the music really sets the whole tone for the battle, and I appreciate that. And I feel like those two for the street star battles, I felt like the DJs and the music really had a part, and it really inspired how the dancers moved based on what they said and their tones of voice and all that stuff. And but I felt like in the house one, I felt it was a little different. Throughout the video, I couldn't see a DJ really. I saw the person in the beginning introduce the dancers, but after that, I didn't really see him at all. I heard a bit, but it wasn't as connected, and I feel like that's because I feel like the DJ in that kind of in the house context kind of just was there and was present, but not as much as in Vogue, especially Vogue in the whacking. But I felt like equally the DJ still inspires the dancer to move a certain way based on what they choose to play, and that's important, because if you don't have a relationship with the music, then you're not really dancing as well, like you're not really dancing. So I think that that's very important. So yeah, peace.